said, Sean, Art of Living's coming to town. They're teaching the Sudarshan Kriya, which is this meditation / pranayama practice. It's happening next weekend. Do you want to do it? I said, I'm there. Bang. Happened. And I used that Kriya for many years. Really nice little pranayama practice / meditation. So, open yourself. Make it a creative process that's going to be enlivening to you. And then by all means, write it down. Create a little, journal, workbook. Have it there. Share it with your friends. I'm always amazed by some of my my patients, that they're so enthusiastic, and they also have like corporate jobs, and they've got the whole floor of their corporation coming to them for advice and mentoring them all, and it's like, wow, it's all going around the office, fantastic. So let's talk about pittas. So the pitta, a lot more heat, tikshnagni, how are we going to create a fast that's going to be right for them? So, what was that? More cooling, yeah. They probably can do with some more raw food. Yeah, they can handle that unless they've got a problem with their Agni. So here I'm thinking probably more like a fresh fruit salad, or some sort of cleansing fruit. I personally like papaya. So it is a bit warming, but it is also very cleansing.
Bit of lime juice on it.
Bit of lime juice on it, alkalise it a little bit. Something like that. Fruits that are in season, that's probably a good way to go. Again, the khichdi, I think for lunch is a good thing for pittas. And then for dinner, what will we do for pittas for dinner? They've got pretty strong appetite, they're probably still a bit hungry. How are we going to look after them?
Come on, Fiona.
Nice slab of cheese.
Nice slab of cheese, straight from the fridge.
Some soups or something.
Some soups, sweet soups.
Herbal infusions are great. That's what I've started.
Herbal infusions?
More herbal infusions like dandelion and nettle and
the bitters.
Yep. So get some bitters happening.
And it really starts to flush things and move things.
So one of the things I was thinking actually was a bitter lettuce salad.
Yeah.
For the pittas, really stimulate, get that liver going.
Yeah, that's what.
So there's no stagnation
at
there.
The moment.
You're taking that?
Yeah, I'm looking for more
bitters. So get the endive, chicory, dandelion.
Watercress,
radicchio.
No, tell me, I running in the Highlands. I had a huge back garden full of dandelion. But the only problem was I had to make sure that it wasn't where the dog had been.
Wash it.
You watch
the smell.
And because you can toss in gotta cola in it as well, which is a fantastic bitter.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I used to throw dandelion into my casseroles and salads.
Beautiful.
And the interesting thing about dandelion is that if you look at it, you've got that kind of jagged edge. So it's dandelion is the tooth of a lion. That's why it's got that.
That's why it's good for lions.
Good for pitta.
Good for pitta, that's right.
Leos, cool down.
That's
it has quite an interesting French name. We call it pissenlit.
Pissenlit.
Yeah, that means we in your bed.
Because it's diuretic effect. Pissenlit.
But interestingly, when at the end of the winter, when the last frost came, they were the first green to appear. And I remember as a little girl going with my grandma through the fields, the paddocks and all that, and we would come home with big bags of dandelions. And we had that as salads, we had it cooked, but that was the purification of spring.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. First growth.
And
it grows so quickly. How quickly does it grow?
Yeah, I mean, you take it out and you leave some of the root and then keep growing back again. So they actually say if you take it out, always leave a little fruit so it will regrow. So
it regenerates incredibly quickly. Very, very fast growing. Okay, so let's not forget about our kaphas. So what are we thinking about for kaphas? So kaphas, earth and water, heavy, congested, mucus, carrying a bit of excess weight.
What
can we do for them? What can we do for their breakfast?
Spice them alive.
Survive in hot water all day.
Hot water.
Ginger tea.
Ginger tea for breakfast.
Yeah.
I actually like stewed apple and clove. I find that's
Do you? Some clove, yeah.
Nice.
Clove,
Because the apple's quite light and dry.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Because
true.
clove gives a
Yeah,
bit
very
of
good.
spice.
Very
Yeah.
You know, it depends on how core they want to go. The covers, they can do it. They've got that capacity. I think again, kitchery is a nice thing. It's very, once you've got it down, it's a beautiful thing to make. In fact, I talk about this sometimes in the cooking class, but I have a friend who's he comes from a Hare Krishna background, and he goes into the zone when he makes kitchery. He makes it for I don't know, lots and lots of people. He just goes at home delivers it to people because he thinks it's a good thing and it's good for the world. And he's happiest when he's making kitchery. That's the high point of one of the high points of his life.
Holy food.
Sorry?
It's a holy food.
It's a holy food. But he brings that, he makes it a sacred space. So he has all of the herbs ready and he just goes into it and you know, puts space, makes 3 hours out of the day to make a huge big, you know, pot of kitchery, which he'll, you know, distribute to friends. And you know, and it's a lovely thing. It's a beautiful thing, and a lot of his friends benefit from that. And that's actually the recipe that you have there is a recipe. I sat down with him, I stood there, and we just made it 3 hours together, and I just watched him, made notes, and so that's the recipe.
It's a little bit like the Vietnamese pho, isn't it? How they really spend a lot of time making stock and making.
Yeah, just so. Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing, I guess, you know, for kaffas is you know, herbal teas. We've talked about ginger, or maybe a kind of a spicy consommé type of thing, like a rasam, a pepper rasam. Pepper rasam, you know, that would be very good. So yeah, I think we did at one of our cooking classes, rasams. Adrian made a rasam, very popular. So the pepper rasam or a ginger rasam, those kinds of things, really good for, and they feel great. So there are various ways in which we can kind of, you know, create a detox that's going to be right for us, right for the season, right for our constitution. Needs to excite us in some way. Yeah. So let me ask the question: is there anybody here who'd like to? No pressure. No, take this opportunity. I mean, we can talk about it, and that's well and good. And it doesn't. I mean, I'm just taking on the pucker tea bag, all right? I'm no great shakes, right? But I'm going to do that one, okay? So you may like to take something on.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
I actually joined a colleague of mine who was doing the Ramadan fast for 30 days. And I just did it with him for fun. Not for fun, just to sort of, I thought that's a good way for me to sort of stick with it.
Yeah,
I can't let him down.
Yeah.
So before sunrise and after sunset only. It was easier because sunsets at 5, so it wasn't that difficult. But during the day, I had water. I said I'm not cutting out water.
Right.
But that was excellent actually. Felt pretty good. We've never gone on a 30-day fast.
Did you do the whole Ramadan?
30 days, yeah.
Wow.
But for someone as kafa as me, it was just great.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to do my next one. Because before I start putting it all back.
Yeah.
When we get into another one, before it sort of undo all the damage, undo all the.
Okay. So you're going to commit to one, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Anybody else got any? I kind of a place where you could start do this.
I actually already had before I come in here. This just happened to be that it was a detox and cleanse. I thought, oh, wonderful. Because I planned to do the khichdi fasting for a week.
Yep, khichdi.
Just do the khichdi and ginger tea.
Great.
And that's it.
Lovely.
To be honest, I can't go without just on the liquids because I just can't go without the food. So the grains has to be a little bit of a grain. So the khichdi is the best way. So I trialed that. I have tried that for a couple of days. So I thought I can deal with this. So I'm going to do that.
Great. Fantastic.
You know, there's this other. It's not a fast. It's actually for people who've got heart problems to lose some weight before they go into operations. The heart, with that particular diet for 7 days, where you just fruit, just vegetables, fruit and vegetables, and then a bit of. Would that be an appropriate one for kapha, you think? Because it's not really.
I'd have to have a look at it, but yeah, if it's light and warm.
It's mainly vegetable soup.
Is it?
Yeah, there's
It's very
soup that
good.
you
It's
keep
meant for
having.
kaphas.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
It's pretty boring.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
I lasted 5 days.
maybe you need to
that's-
spice it up a bit.
It is a point. I mean, you can probably do a pretty boring thing for 3 or 5 days, or one day. But if you're going to take something that's more hopefully sustainable, then I think you've got to, probably make it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, add some spices to it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bring in your little spice
Gingers,
spice kit, and
And
play
change
away.
the flavor.
Yeah.
But the flavor is too much the same, so you get bored.
I'm just trying to think, when you talk about space, I've just had my daughter, son-in-law and 4 grandchildren and their dog move in to live with me for 2 months, and I'm thinking, space.
You're gonna have to.
What is that?
It's going to be a challenge.
Come and hang out with me.
I have to go and hang out with them.
You hang with me. I have lots of space in my life, I must admit. Huge amount of space. I do. I'm very lucky. I make sure I have lots of space.
Yeah, no, well, you've created that.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
great.
normally.
I just eat too much. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reduce
Oh yeah, you
my
can really
food
tell,
intake.
Lindy.
Oh no, so I seriously, I've totally pigged out over winter. I need to cut it back. I will. I'll cut it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll write down, cut it back.
You know something we found very useful is, I don't know whether anyone drinks much alcohol here, but we did dry July and also Feb fast, which is just great for everything because it benefits you, and then you raise lots of money for hospital and charity. And it's great because you get all this support. They send you, newsletters all the time on email, and other people are doing it. And it's easy because you get so much support. And it's like two months of the year where you just completely, don't have it. And, then we chose to drink water instead. So that was sort of like, it was good. It was good.
I think that support is a really important word.
Yeah.
So it is sustainable and interesting as an experience, not just something you endure.
A little bit of fun, have a bit of a whinge. And
got somebody to whinge to who's going to understand.
Yeah. And you feel like you're doing something useful for others.
Yeah, I always say, when you're running the city to surf, and you're being toasted by the whole of Sydney, and there's 15 helicopters going, and Gatorade there, and everybody clapping you, people, thousands of people clapping you, Before you know it, you're at Bondi Beach. Wow, wasn't that hard? But if somebody said to you, I want you to run from Town Hall to Bondi Beach and
on your own
in less than in an hour and a bit, no way.
You're joking.
So that aspect of it all is really really important, I think. Yeah. So if we can try and create something for ourselves, it's going to be right for who we are. Something that's mindful of looking after not just our physical body, but our emotions, our mind, our spirit. Then it becomes something that's that we can really learn from. And what I find, I have a lot of my personal experience, but also professional experience. I see people going to, say, some of the places I've recommended in South India. They've gone there for like 10 days, and they've had profound breakthroughs in their health. And when I say not just physical, but mental, emotional, on so many levels, and they come back and they're just like this kind of, born again kind of person. But what they've been doing there has been having experience of all these different practices, and so they can bring that experience and use that in their home and then start to create a more healthy life. And then I watch them over time build up more and more of a repertoire, more understanding, and then it becomes more like second nature to them. Whereas when they first had that experience, it was profound, it was kind of a breakthrough, and then it gradually gets integrated in, and you see people transform and grow, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. So if we can make it as juicy as possible on all those different levels, then it's not just the 3 more days and then I'm finished. It's much more enlivening and good for the spirit.
So how do you get your partner involved?
Okay.
That's always the thing that's the hardest thing, is that if you want to do something, then you're going to change the dynamics in the household, and that makes it more challenging to you're likely to get the opposite of support, because
not all the time.
No. Well, yes.
I think it depends on the partner.
Trying to make it, trying to convince them to get involved, I suppose.
So what the question would be, what's in it for them?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
You have to find something that's going to speak to them.
Yes. Okay.
And then if you can find that, then maybe you can negotiate something.
Like my partner is typically English, like lamb and mashed potatoes and peas, like his favourite meal. And then we vegetarian, so I'm the cook, so this is food. You either eat what I eat, or you go and have baked beans on toast, whatever. Yeah. So he loves it. He says it's like he's vegetarian, doesn't eat meat anymore, and just says it's so tasty and he loves the food. But I spent quite a few years learning how to cook good vegetarian, because I think that's the thing. Because if you can cook well, vegetarian food is just so wonderfully tasty. I think where a lot of people fall down is that they don't necessarily know how to cook it well. So the food is not appetising. But if you can make food appetising, then they tend to come on board, I find.
Yes.
We have a friend whose husband is, Kim's husband, like total meat eater. But, you make vegetarian food for him and, he's going, he loves it. He eats it because it's really tasty. So it's just,
Well, Jennifer's told us that your stories with your parents' generation.
Oh, yeah. First time they've ever had this food, and wow, they're still talking about it 10 years later. It's like it left a memory.
Really?
Yeah. Every time I see them, because I don't see them that often, I still remember that lunch.
That's right. It is incredible how...
Yeah, and there was 80 people in the room, and they were quite noisy in the beginning, and the first mouthful they had of the temple stew, it was like a hum came through the room. It was this humming sound. It was just extraordinary. It was like it just hit the spot.
Wow. So
extraordinary. And the transformation,
isn't it? That's the trick.
The energy
to be able to cook.
Oh, absolutely.
Good food, because and you can do it, and they'll so be on board.
They can't.
Well, Tim's beetroot story.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the body. They don't have any say. It's not the personality. The body just says, "Wow, this is something I've never tasted before." And we're saying, "But it's just a bit of spices, and it's something just comes alive in it. Something that the body's been really missing too. I think that really deep nourishment, because so much is into takeaway or just throwing something together.
Or just steam vegetables and think it is vegetarian.
Yeah.
There's some shocking vegetarian cooks out there. Seriously shocking. Like the idea of protein's cheese, it's like really heavy with dairy and it's tasteless.
And just to sort of come back to that idea of space, and Ayurveda is very clear. It says, the first line of treatment is removal of cause. So I think it's really important to address the kind of toxic loads that are in our lives. And, starting with things like television, time on the computer, junk music, radio, there's a lot of stuff there it's just, it's going to, it's not going to lighten you, it's going to weigh you down in some way, mess you up.
That's true. I just came back from 2 weeks in the States. I had a week in New York, in Manhattan, and I was just overwhelmed with the junk. There's advertising. It's a great city, but I came away just
frazzled,
irritated.
Right,
and it's everything there is I just had this feeling they fill their minds with junk and they fill their bodies with junk, and it's really starting to show big time. I was glad to get home to the northern beaches.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, so to create some space in your evening so that it's not being consumed by the computer or radio or television or I mean there are obviously you can be judicious around this, and there are some good television programs on. But
there's
not a lot.
Packed to the rafters.
After 9 o'clock at night,
Yes.
virtually none.
Mostly. Oh yes, Sunday.
Sunday? What's it?
Compass.
All right.
I am
That's
an
compass.
I am an
yeah,
addict.
That's true. Yeah.
Actually, even walking, under the full moon or in the evening before you go to sleep, is really good for digestion and clearing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
that's
find
good to have a
like
dog.
for partners, for husbands, activity is good. Sometimes you can steer away from food. Maybe give them a good vegetable soup, which is nourishing.
And go for a
But
walk.
also it's light. Eat early. So you don't really have to mention fasting, but just give good soup.
I love the
And
sleight of hand here.
Walking in the evening is amazing because it's really calming.
Yeah, beautiful.
For the nervous system, and then you wake up feeling light,
Absolutely.
and then you can start your day, and have a good hearty meal at lunch, and then be a bit gentler in the evening, and that's a good way to clear your system.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's to really nurture the Agni.
Yeah, because soup's quite subtle.
Yes,
Getting
it's
to
nice
the
and
cells.
light.
I just got to share this little story with you. I have a student, and she's worked for the same corporation in London, Sydney, and Bangkok. And the food culture in London and Sydney is that you apologetically eat your lunch in front of the computer screen.
Lots of places.
And in Bangkok, if you're really brave, you might go out of the building and sit in the park if there isn't one around. And in Bangkok, 12 o'clock, same company, everything stops. Everybody goes down one floor, they turn on the woks, they have a wonderful communal meal together for an hour. 1 o'clock, straight back upstairs. How good would that be for corporate morale?
Oh, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Fantastic.
That's
Man, it's so
great.
simple. You have to,
great.
one CEO at the top has to say, this is the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Sol
right.
Traher, who got paid out $16 million
Yeah.
after doing what he did to Telstra. Oh my God,
Exactly.
unbelievable. So, somebody with a bit of enlightenment, change our culture. So space for yourself.
I am going away by myself for 1 week on Wednesday. Space.
Good for you.
Meditation, routine, diet, the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are you going
So-
somewhere special?
Just I've rented an apartment right on the water in Lennox Head.
Oh, lovely.
That's
beautiful.
Yeah,
It's a great place.
right on the water. And I decided I'm not coping at the moment, so I'm at a turning point, and I'm going to do that. So I
That's great.
Good on
managed
you.
to find a room and book my flight, and I'm leaving.
I'm out of here.
And I'm taking my mobile, and I've already told my children it won't be turned on. So if it is urgent, send me a text. Otherwise, manage.
Well put.
People have no
So,
downtime.
That will be a real
Very
Ayurvedic
few.
retreat for a week.
That's great. That's a great thing.
And when you do, friends say to you, I have so many friends that say to me, but aren't you bored? Because they can't get over the fact that I can, my day, I'll do yoga and meditation, play in the garden for a few hours, sit on the deck, read a book and have a cup of tea, then cook dinner. That wouldn't be my day. It's fantastic. And they're like,
Aren't you bored?
aren't you bored? It's like,
Linda, you're a rare being in this city. A rare being.
I wish. I've worked out to get to that space, but they can't. They actually can't get it. They actually don't get it, and they've said it to Fiona, because Fiona's life's pretty cruisy too. But they always say, you're wasting your life, Fiona, because you're not doing stuff.
I'm drinking coffee.
That's true. But that's
And loving it.
yeah. But that's very much the attitude. It's like you have to justify your existence by being really busy, and if they see you as having downtime and you're very at peace and happy with your downtime, then there's basically something wrong with you.
This is a doing culture, not a being culture.
You're not achieving anything.
Very
You're
much
not
so.
out there achieving and making lots
and this
of
is
money
an
and
attitude
becoming
with
successful.
people that
Being
like,
successful.
You know,
Yeah, and if you want to stay in the garden,
which is even more
you
stupid.
plant.
You think that no.
But that's the classic East versus West.
Yeah.
The East looks at the West and says you're either asleep or you're going. There's no in between. There's no rest. There's no relaxation. Whereas in the East, they stop. Yeah, that's the quintessential difference.
Yeah.
And we don't rest.
Don't, no.
Even here, you know, we're sitting still, but the brains are still going.
Maybe we should be meditating. Why don't we finish with a little meditation?
Excellent.
Sorry.
And we'll finish with some Shanti 3 times.